Where have I been? I've been around. I might have been doing a thing. Now, you look at the thing and it might not look really impressive in any sense, but this is really freaking cool. So, before I do anything, special thanks to Take and NERF Stryfe by default for sending me this for review. What is this? Well, this happens to be the brand new Select Fire kit for the Stryfe, and before I do anything else, I just have to say this is quite possibly my highest recommendation of any purchase I think I could possibly give right now, especially for an aftermarket part. Holy crap, is this kit awesome? Don't believe me? Allow me to demonstrate. So I have a Stryfe here. There are buttons here that control stuff, but eagle-eyed of you might have noticed this little thing right here next to my thumb. Now, that may just be a selection lever for different firing modes for the Stryfe, so if I want, I don't know, semi-auto? Now, admittedly, that isn't really all that impressive because the Stryfe already does that by default. But that, man, that was punchy as heck. But let's kick things up a notch. We'll put it to that setting. Right there. Yeah, you see that one? It's in the middle. I think it's medically impossible to not smile when doing that. And yes, there was a magazine in there, a 10-rounder. But let's say that wasn't enough. Final option. That was 12 darts. Yeah, I really can't do much more than that, and that's not the only thing that's been done to that Stryfe. There's actually quite a bit shoved into this, and, well, this is a multi-review, kinda. So let's just go back to yesterday's Walcom to kind of show off what everything comes with the Select Fire kit, and kinda how it goes together. Well, this is a little bit different than normal. I've got myself a Stryfe here. A gutted Stryfe, because we're going to be putting stuff in it. Namely, the stuff that I have sitting right here. And if you're not interested, well, I don't know why you're not interested, because this is one of the single coolest things that I could possibly stuff into pretty much any blaster that's a drop-in kit. And this is the Stryfe Select Fire Kit, version 3.8, probably by some manufacturer. I honestly don't know right now. Basically, all you need is a pair of plastic snippers and a screwdriver and maybe a hobby knife, and you can get through this mod. And it's a really nicely developed mod kit. It's something that they thought about this quite intimately, because you use, like, these screws. Like, you notice this giant screw sitting in here. You use this to drill a hole into the shell. Like, they're using that as a drill. Some of the things that it's a 3D printed kit to a point, and I do a lot of 3D printing, and I've spent a lot of time dialing in my printer, and my prints don't come out this nice. These are very, very nice pieces, and even on top of that, they're reinforced with metal pieces all over the place to give them that kind of rigidity, and the actual gearbox right here, like this gear is solid metal, it's freaking huge, and then this metal pinion that goes on the end of this thing, there's a lot to enjoy right here. And then you've got a lot of things. So obviously this is your pusher that connects to that kind of stuff, but if we go a little bit deeper, we got this entire thing. This is all stuff that has to fit in your Stryfe in one way or another. And the best part, when I say this is a really well-designed kit, things like this, these are the buttons that control it. It's meant to go in your freaking jam door. So that, like seriously, that's so well designed, I don't even know what else to say. They've gone above and beyond to put this kit together, and there's actually some optional pieces here. So we got this entire kit right here, which requires a little bit of like cutting right here, cutting in here, cutting out some of these back pieces, fitting the original, like the new trigger and stuff in there. A little bit of cutting, not much. But let's say I want to not use these buttons to select things. Maybe I want to have, I don't know, like a little switch on, you know, right here on the side of the blaster. They've got you covered because there's this piece right here that is a dial that connects to the main board. And again, you use this screw to drill a hole for this piece, and then you mount all these pieces on there, and you got yourself a little selector switch on the side of your blaster. So you can go from full auto, semi-auto, and burst fire. I am very excited for this. That should be 3-shot burst. And then all the way down should be full auto. Yeah, I am already saying I don't even need to fire at this point. I could call the video here, but I am already saying this is the freaking coolest thing I have ever had. The only thing I'm missing in this thing is an ammo counter. I wonder if they make an ammo counter that's small enough to fit in here. I've ran about 120 darts through this thing so far, about 10, 12 round mags, and I am very impressed with how this works. That's not to say it's flawless. This is an aftermarket 18 round mag, and I'm gonna put this on, we'll start with burst fire and just see what happens with this. Notice how it kind of just grinded there? It still shot 3, but yeah, it doesn't like this mag, and I think that has something to do with the inability for this thing to fire darts quick enough, because this is not an official 18 rounder. This is, yeah, this is an aftermarket one. With normal magazines, it works fine. I've used some lower capacity aftermarket mags, like the clear 12 rounders, and they did work fine. It's just with those kind of mags, it don't like it. Now, thankfully, since this kit has full metal internals, that's not really a big deal. It does grind, it does lock up, but so far, it's done it a couple of times now, and nothing has broken. It still just keeps on firing, so yeah. And you can hear that rate of fire. That is awesome. I know a lot of you were probably saying something along the lines of, why would I spend $50 on a kit when I could just buy a regulator? Heck, you could buy a regulator at some places for like $44. Well, this is way better than a regulator will ever pretty much be. While the regulator is great for people who don't want to mod, and you can make pistol regulators, I have seen it done, this is a beast in and of itself, and it's far faster, far more intuitive, and far better than pretty much any regulator will probably ever be, unless somebody figures out a way to hack into the regulator's existing stuff to add in an ammo counter. And that's really the only thing that's missing off this Stryfe right now, and it's possible to add something like that in the future, but I've used just about every square inch of real estate inside this blaster, so I don't know how well that's going to go. So beyond the select fire kit that's installed right here, it's running off a 3S LiPo, and it's using 16 gauge silicone wiring, big thick wires that are really, really hard to kind of put in the blaster itself, and then it's got the Morpheus Kit installed on it, which is one of the few blasters that actually have the kit installed right now from the Open Flywheel project. The Morpheus Kit is a new 3D printable cage, but it also, you can buy separately or buy a combo from various retailers like Out of Darts or Kelly Industries and so forth, to put in an aluminum insert, which you can kind of see in there right there, that gives it that barrel that's been proven to improve your accuracy. And in this, I'm not really sure how well it's working because I haven't done any long-range tests, but the thing's a laser anyway. And you notice I cut the barrel off because this is meant to be like a secondary kind of thing. It's not meant to be anything beyond this, but if you really needed to, I mean, you could of course just take off a little end cap, which was salvaged off one of the attachments from the Modulus line that I got from Brett. I don't know which one it was. He just gave me the end cap because he knew I was looking for it for this specific purpose right here, and put on whatever fancy stock you might want, and yeah, there you go. You got like an SMG. And yes, because it's running this Vector kit, it is impossible to put in any of the 25 or 35 round drums, or even the 18 round drums. They just don't work with this kit. You could use a Worker 22 round magazine if they do feed properly, which I don't have one on me to test, but judging by how some of the other third-party magazines have gone, I'm not holding my breath. While this isn't an in-depth review of really any of these parts besides the Select Fire kit, it must be said that if you own a Stryfe and you have any kind of modding experience with said Stryfe, you owe it to yourself to buy this kit. It's very good. It is exceedingly awesome. I absolutely adore it. Since the pieces are metal reinforced all over the place, I don't foresee it breaking anytime soon, but if it does, I will update the description of this video saying as much. But it's seriously, you don't technically need any power tools to install this kit. You will probably want a soldering iron, because obviously you're going to be doing some soldering anyway, because you need to do a full rewire of the blaster, because of course, this thing will not work with alkalines.
It specifically says that alkalines may damage this. It's meant to run off some kind of lipo, or maybe NiCad, or maybe even your trust fires and blah blah blah. And it's meant for that. It even has a built-in voltage alarm that you can program for various voltages using the buttons right here. So I love this thing. My friends at Make Test Battle did do a review and install of the version 2 kit. This is the version 3.8, and there are a lot of differences, and I think the main things that they're going to get you are the fact that it's much more elegant to install. It has full metal gears where you need it, so you shouldn't have anything breaking on you. And of course, the addition of this little lever right here, which really makes the entire difference. Justin from Make Test Battle did say that the burst fire wasn't practical. It might have been because of their kit they thought that. For me, this is one of the most practical blasters I freaking own right now, because not only is it a pistol secondary that I can easily buy some kind of leg holster for, but then you can whip it out, and if you have one target and they're not really pestering you all that much, it's very easy to just sit there and go, no problem whatsoever. If you have a target nearby that's threatening you quite a bit, you can, and they're probably done. Or if they're really just point blank and you have nothing else you can do, and you really just need to clear a corner or a room, I apparently had a dart in there. But the idea of having a pistol and a holster on my side that I could effortlessly pull out and could potentially tag out up to 6 different people, even at a very long range where this thing might not be that good and they might be able to see the blaster coming and you can dodge one dart, or maybe it's just at the tail end of the velocity. But if I do a 3-shot burst and I get that kind of shotgun effect, it's gonna be really hard to deal with that. This thing is incredible, and I love it more than pretty much anything else right now. If for some reason you don't feel that that's correct, if you think my opinion is wrong, you can of course leave that down in the comment section. I'd be glad to hear it, but it's not just the fact that, oh, I have a thing that 3 shots bursts. I had a regulator, it did that, and it was really freaking cool too, but this is just crazy. And yeah, it's not just because this thing's like a 3-shot burst and blah, blah, blah. No, it's legitimately really freaking cool, very practical, very good. Since it's not using that belt, there's no delay, it just instantly fires, and I like that, and you feel really in control, and seriously, it's 1-to-1, man. It's so good. This is, you'll find links for this thing down in the description box below. I cannot recommend it enough. It's made me love the Stryfe in ways I never thought I could possibly love a Stryfe, and since it's an internal kit, you can pretty much use any of the body kits, whatever you'd want to do with this thing. It would work flawlessly. The jam door still opens. You can see, yeah, there's some wires right there. They're kind of in the way, but not really that bad. It's just a phenomenal kit. I can't recommend it enough. And seriously, if you have a Stryfe and you can solder, pick one up. You don't need to have a drill or anything like that. You just pretty much need a soldering iron, a knife, and some hobby snippers, and a screwdriver, and you're good to go. This has been Walcom S7. Thank you very much for watching this video, and of course, I hope to see you in an entirely different one.